Good afternoon. Um, Here to make a video for my YouTube channel. Not much is new, really. Meant to be seeing Minnie today, but I forgot to book the taxi, and then they didn't have any staff, so that hasn't happened. And what else? I'm in hospital, as happens to me, um, and it's okay. I'm alive, so that's good. And I don't really have a lot to say that I would say. Um, been trying to bridge the gaps between time zones. I don't mean like jet lag, I mean in terms of having different eras. I feel like without being allowed to know where I am or when I am, I'm visiting different time periods. And some of the time periods, say like up to date time periods, know everything that I know and more. Whereas some of the older periods are don't well they know different stuff, but they wouldn't know about microglia, say. So I was going to do a video about microglia, and then thought, I'll get laughed at, or because everyone knows what that is. And we can't believe you only know you're like 40 years old, and we know when we're 8. So I'm feeling a little bit, because it was a great discovery for me. It really was. And to think that I could be considered a baby or a child because I'm excited by this new discovery is quite difficult to deal with, really. Yeah. And I'm still struggling with my illness. I mean, I've got this bloke, who's sharing my brain, who is pretending to be me and behaving in ways I just wouldn't. And because he looks like me, because he's inside this body as well, it's very difficult for people to discern who's who, or at least that's what they pretend anyway. And he's a nightmare, and I have to compete with time for him because we can't exist at the same time. So we it's either him alive or me alive, and obviously I don't get to choose, otherwise it would be me alive, and he doesn't get to choose, it would be him alive. And so like the number of people that are choosing is, I'm told, quite big, and there's important stakeholders as well, people who have particular amounts of sway and opinion. And it feels like we're coming to a point where one of us is going to have like a lifetime uninterrupted by the other, which is what I've been advocating. I mean, I don't interrupt his life, he's the only one interrupting mine, for reasons that I can't really fathom it continuing anymore. Anyway, it does feel like one of us is going to get a good period of time without the other one, without being a threat of the other one. And I'm hoping, obviously, that it will be me. And so I'm trying to maximize my opportunities and create a positive vision of the future for myself and others. And this is the first step in doing that. It's difficult because I'm in hospital and I don't have any money. If I had money, I think, I would probably be running my own business, or I'd be running my own business. I've always wanted media business to educate, and that ties in with my studying, which is I've studied politics and international relations for my first degree, and then for my second degree I studied international political economy, specialising in global finance. And my first degree taught me a lot about political systems, political change, how to best, opinions on how to best organise a society. And I suppose I do believe in democracy, but I feel like the democracies that are prevalent now, 2025, are so estranged from the people that they run. I mean, the power and the power holders in the democracy, so like the government, are so estranged from the electorate, and there is such a wide, no, not a wide gap, but there is such a lack of information given to people about the laws that are being passed, which everyone has to live under. So you can say, they have a choice, they elect representatives, but basically the laws are created by the civil servants. So the legislation is created by the civil servants, who then give it to the government, who then supposedly reads it. I mean, reads it. I mean, the individual ministers don't read it. I don't even know why it's given to the government, because I suppose maybe their advisors read the legislation. Maybe that's what happens. So say their advisors read the legislation, and then the government passes it. It then gets sent up to the monarch to pass into law, to give royal assent to it. Now, to me, to be able to pass a law that for anyone to pass a law that they're expecting me to live under, I would like to know what that law says. And at the moment, it's not possible for the average person to read a law. They're that lengthy and that inaccessible in terms of language, and they are available on the internet, so access isn't really a problem if you have access to the internet. But in terms of the length of them, that's the main issue. And it's like, why is this so long? I mean, gosh, you're talking about one issue. Is this a good idea or is this a bad idea? Anyway, what I would like to see is a direct democracy where people receive via their phones or televisions a summary of the law and the legislation that's being proposed, analysis of it. And I mean, you could employ lots of people. It would create a lot of jobs, because you could have journalists analysing the content of the legislation. You could have think tanks, that have led to the creation of the legislation. They could be talking about how they've contributed and where the ideas came from. And then you would have the people who actually write the summaries, have interviews with the civil servants about the process. And so, I mean, there could be a whole host of media, but for most people, just a very brief summary of the legislation and how it would impact them. And then they vote with their TVs or their phones and decide whether they think it should be passed or not. And then depending upon the results of the votes, and this could happen every week, say, with the new legislation summaries coming to them, this could happen every week. And then once the public have voted, it would be a majority rule. So say say over 50% of people think this is a good idea, then we would pass it. It would receive popular consent and then be passed up to the monarch to give royal assent to. And I think that would just be such a much better way of people feeling in touch with their with the with the rules and structures that are binding them, well, not binding them, but meaning that they are part of a cohesive society, which is why we have law, is so that, everyone can live side by side without harming each other. That's the idea, anyway. And I don't know. I'm also that's the end of that idea. Not the end of the idea, but that is the end of me talking about that idea. I'm also having problems with my microglia, which are the little people that live inside my brain, and I'm competing with them as well, because they can withdraw my brain, which exists inside this bigger brain. I have a little brain, not stupid, but a little brain, physically little. And my microglia are competing with me to withdraw. One of them wants to withdraw me and take my opportunity, which is what I'm doing now. And basically, I'm allowed to do this now, according to her, because she wants the ideas and then she will do it better. Which maybe she would, but I highly doubt it. Anyway, that's just as an offside. So yeah, that's part of my vision for the future. And yeah. Oh, and part of this direct democracy would be having an information outlet or outlets that provide honest and open information about events in the world, the globe, domestically. Would you could have multiple outlets, so you could have celebrity focused sort of publications, fashion publications. You could have what would you have? You'd have magazines, say, when that would be divided up into things like fashion, home, football. I'm trying to think of men's things, cars, and then what I would be most interested in would be news. So looking at current affairs, politics, the results of the direct democracy initiative, and foreign affairs. What the news covers, and I think there's a reason and a good case for creating a new media outlet, is that a lot of the media outlets rely solely on Reuters or similar news feeds. So you get the same kind of content from all of them. And you don't get anything that's different between the news channels. And I think to create an independent of those news feeds, an independent outlet for media could be, not revolutionary, but could be really innovative and create a lot of discussion and debate and inform the population a lot more. Because at the moment, people looking for alternative sources of information are having to search the internet and find, random sort of articles or videos. And this new information outlet, media outlet, would gather from all those different sources, not just from a newsfeed of recommended content, but would have researchers, including members of the public, who would send in content, and they could be summarised into you know, you could have a TV channel, of a website. You could have um, TV channel, website. What else? I had another one. Oh, newspaper. Yeah, and that's what I would like to see, because I think there's a real lack of information, and to have a good democracy, you need informed population, basically. Otherwise, they can pull the wool over your eyes. And also, from the media outlet could be film, and you could look at independent cinema. I mean, there's quite a lot of that, so I wouldn't be as worried about that as I would the news. Yeah. Anyway, that's all for now. Ta-ra.